And how I found out that I could no longer write after my own stroke was actually kind of funny. I was in the rehab hospital, and one of the rehab therapists said, "Write a letter." And I was like, "Okay, what letter do you want me to write?" Like, just write a letter to a friend. It can just be just a casual letter. I'm like, "Okay." So I wrote, "Dear Dina, I am fine. I hope you are well. Thanks, Sheba." And I looked up at the therapist and said, "I'm done." And the therapist said, "Are you sure?" And my brain knew that the ending I didn't land correctly, but that's okay. I thought the rest of the letter was fine. But the therapist said, "Why don't you look at the letter and see if there's any spelling mistakes?" I'm like, "Okay." So I looked down at the letter and there was nothing written. It was just a bunch of squiggly lines. It was the squiggly lines that showed, like, hey, where I was writing. It was basically my hand hadn't gripped the pencil, and my eye, even though I'd given the correct information to the brain had basically filled in the gaps. But then the second time when the brain looked down and it was actually processing what it was seeing, it could see those squiggly lines. And as a doctor, I thought that was very interesting. Actually, the first thing I thought when I looked at that as a doctor was like, Houston, we have a problem because that visual motor loop has been interrupted. But then the second thing I thought was, this is very interesting. But as a person who got a prize in fifth grade for their penmanship, for as a doctor who had always been told by their patients, like, wow, you don't write like a doctor, it was kind of crushing.